show ended on such a weird, not a weird note. It was like a cliffhanger, like, oh, this is what's going happening. Tune in next time to find out the next part
Right.
of the story, whatever. But I was like, you never really found out exactly what happened with Superman. Which was it? I'm sitting here thinking, is it really Superman? Probably not, because in that world, Superman doesn't really exist. He's a comic book character. And she's like the biggest Superman fan. And it kind of reminded me of us. We're here talking about that show, and she's online talking about Superman. And I'm just like,
Right.
wow.
It would be like if we were, if we were to become superheroes,
That
right?
would be awesome,
How
man.
it would be awesome, but how completely unlikely. And I think that is kind of the thing. Everybody knows that Naomi loves Superman, um, and so it's just ironic. I think even um, was it Zumbato or was it D who had pointed it out how it was interesting that she has an affinity for Superman.
I can't remember which one of them it was, because you really don't know what's going on yet with her. She sees this like stunt, and like, why was the stunt even done? I guess the guy D, I guess, told her, "Oh, I did it because I wanted publicity for my shop and all this." Then later on, he's like, "I didn't really do it. It wasn't really me." It's like, who did it and why? Like, why do they want to have either like a hologram or a guy in a suit like being flown around? I'm like, at first I thought, could this really be Superman? I was like, no, because he's a comic book. He doesn't exist here. And it was just, it's weird and confusing already, because I don't know what her powers are supposed to be. I've never heard of the character before today. Well, not before today, but before like the last couple of weeks.
Right.
And so I'm kind of interested to see what she can do, why it's important. And I know it has something to do with her eyes, because like she wears the glasses because of the degenerative eye disease that she has to wear the glasses to help from the deterioration and all this and that. I don't know why I had to close my eyes to talk about that. But I think that's going to have a part in something. I'm getting like, I don't know the character. I'm sure like the secrets are out there, because if anybody knows the character, they can go like, oh no, she has this power.
Right.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
They wouldn't.
Again, I wasn't familiar with Naomi at all prior to going and watching the first episode. But I know that I think that what seems obvious is that she has the same type of vision abilities that Superman has, right? The ability to kind of either zoom in on something, or
Okay.
I'm sure it will become a lot like she can see through objects.
Like X-rays. See, I didn't
Yeah.
know that, and I could tell just by looking at the stuff going on in the show. Like the glasses thing was like emphasized so much. They were like, your eyes. I'm like, she's gonna have some eye powers.
Right. But what's weird? So what's weird to me though is that Superman or Clark Kent wears glasses intentionally by choice to hide his ability, or to hide his identity.
Yeah.
Whereas Naomi wore glasses because her parents told her it was to correct her vision. And to me, that was really weird, because she knows that the glasses don't help her out at all. They make it worse.
Yeah, sometimes make it worse. Yeah.
Which makes me wonder whether her parents, Jennifer and Greg McDuffie, if they know that Naomi is special, and that they have her wear the glasses to help kind of keep her powers in check.
Probably.
To me, that was the weird part of the entire episode. It seemed like there were so many people that knew she was special, but she doesn't.
Yeah, she's like the last to know about her own powers.
Right. I mean, that's not so weird. I mean,
no. She had headaches on her show. Superman had headaches on his show, and he did. That's true.
It was an odd correlation in both shows.
I don't know if it was.
Both have them.
Do you think it was a coincidence that they did that? Like, I mean, it's the same night too. Same night, talking about Superman, similarities in both episodes. Like, I don't know if that was like such a coincidence. They probably were like, "This is funny. Let's put this together." now those shows cross over? Will it be
I
like,
know.
some magic, like Indian in the cupboard almost, where like the little toy comes to life, and maybe like the comic book comes to life, and there he is, a Superman. Like, what's happening? Like,
Yeah, I
I don't
don't
think,
know.
I don't know. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Yeah,
I
it's
think that Corey and I went out and had lunch earlier today, and we had talked about Naomi. And one of the things that he had mentioned was that the effect that both of them seem to have of the headaches, the pain, the blackouts was a lot like what we saw when there was that alternate Earth Alice from Batwoman that came
yeah.
across. And so it really makes you wonder about whether or not, and we're already talking about Superman and Lois, but it makes you wonder if there's alternate versions of the same character.
And Corey points out that in the comics, Superman mentors Naomi. So this could tie in. It could be a thing. I wonder what if Naomi is the Earth Prime version of John Henry Irons' daughter?
Maybe.
What if, because like she just got to Smallville on the farm and they're living there now, and then as soon as she arrives, this new girl pops up. It's Naomi. Oh, my headaches, my headaches, my headaches. Maybe there's some sort of thing there, or maybe I'm looking
It's
too
possible.
far. Yeah,
I don't think there's anything. I mean, right now it's all speculation.
yeah.
Unless you've read the comic books, um, they're we're still just kind of figuring out about who she is. Um, I think she's an interesting character. I was watching the show with my oldest daughter, and she was in speech and debate in high school, and so she automatically kind of made that connection. I think
Okay.
the other thing that I had really found interesting was the way in which they seem to deal with the LGBTQ connection, which a lot of
Mhm.
shows tend to make, especially in the CW. Um, I think that it's interesting that um, she talked about her relationships with her friends,
Mhm.
um, you know, and her desires for intimacy or to go out with them, and her parents didn't bat an eyelash.
Yeah, they were
Right.
like, "Oh, okay."
And I think the creators had said, they don't want to spend an entire episode on this. They want to just
Right.
simply talk about it. Like I think we had talked about that. It doesn't need to be an entire show about it. It needs to be a normal part of who the character is.
It's,
I think the verdict is still out on Naomi.
yeah.
I think there's enough interesting things that are happening though in the show that I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next.
The big thing,
So,
like the last thing I'll say is like the big thing that caught me at the end, not at the end of the show, but just like overall, is the loose connection to Superman. Like,
right.
and now knowing that they were connected in the comic books, so it's like, okay, I want to see where this goes.
Right.
If it just goes to where they're just never gonna have them connect, this is just a comic book. Oh well, they're still talking about Superman. There's that connection. There's that thing there.
Right.
I was
will
waiting.
say yeah.
Sorry. I was waiting for them to say like, "Oh, I was watching Superman and Lois last night on CW. Now my name is
Right.
Naomi, and I'm going to walk around
Right.
town." Like that would have been funny.
It would
That'd
have.
been weird.
On a kind of interesting side note, I was born and raised in Portland, and having this show take place in the Pacific Northwest at Port Oswego, which is not too far from Portland. I think we used to go to Lake Oswego all the time. For me, there's that kind of subtle connection with
That's
the story
cool.
that way too. So I thought that was cool. So
So the CW should thank us because we've got one new viewer for Naomi.
yeah, there we go.
And if I was forced against my will to watch the show, no, you're like, watch Naomi, and I'm like, well, maybe.